All right, so let's talk about AWS Cloud history. And it all started from 2002, which they had their internal launch, which was just simply to help Amazon's own website run better. And then by 2003, they realized that this is the cost trend and it will probably be a good idea to launch it to the market. By 2004, they decided to make that decision by launching the first service called SQLs. And then by 2006, it doesn't just end there. They launch with other services like SQLs, EC2, and S3. Okay, these are the popular services in AWS, right in this case. And then by 2007, they decided to now launch it within a continent and they launched it to Europe. Okay, so Europe has a lot of countries right inside of it. And then tools like Dropbox, believe you've heard of services like NASA, even Airbnb, Netflix. Okay, they all use AWS right in this case. Now in 2019, AWS had about 35.02 billion in annual revenue. So that's quite a lot. And since AWS is the first service cloud provider, they are really the top out of all the service providers in the world. And they take up 47% of the market and about 2019, while Microsoft takes about 22% right in this case. And they have over 1 million active users and even much more than it is because right now we're 2026. Okay, and there are other service cloud providers like Alibaba, Oracle, and IBM. No, these are just niche players. They are here for specific purposes, right in this case. But the leaders are the AWS, Google Cloud platform, and Microsoft Azure. So who actually uses AWS? Now, this AWS is simply used by gaming company like Activision. They just simply use it to host online multiplayer games, so millions of people can play it without lag. And it's also used by Netflix, which is used for streaming movies, right in this case. And it's also used by large enterprise like Donald in this case, which uses it for their mobile tracking order. So whether it's a strong, massive amount of data or just hosting a simple website, AWS has a tool for that. Okay, and this tool can simply include backup and storage for web hosting, mobile apps, whether you want to deploy a social media application, gaming, AWS has all of these services that can help you out with all of this stuff right here. And this is AWS global infrastructure in this case. Now you need to understand each of these terms like AWS region, availability zones, AWS data center, and AWS edge locations. Now let's talk about the cloud in this case so you can understand what the cloud is really. Now AWS divides the world, okay, into regions. Okay, so we are where we are in this world. AWS divides the world into regions, and think of a region as a major city like North Virginia or Tokyo or London. Each region is a complete separate geographical area. When you start an application, you have to pick a city to pull it in, and you are going to choose it based on compliance. Compliance just simply means some law says customer data must stay in a specific country. You also have to choose the specific region based on the proximity, or we can call that latency. And it just simply means you want your server close to your customers. Okay, if your users are in London, don't put your app in Tokyo, or they will simply experience latency. Now, latency just simply means delay, okay, in simple terms, or means lag, okay, or slow down. Okay, the other thing you should consider is the pricing anytime you want to pick a region. Okay, so the pricing, surprisingly, some cities are cheaper than others. That's just what you need to know. Now the next one is the availability zone, or you can simply call that AZ. Okay, so that's like the short term, we call it every time. So in case you see me call AZ, means availability zone. Now availability zone, you need to understand that inside every region, okay, inside every single region here, right? Um, just to make this simple for you, okay, I can just do a simple example. So this is like a region. Just think of it as a city. Okay, so you know that we could have a country and we could have different cities inside it, right? So just think of all of these boxes as a region. Okay, so inside every region or inside every city, there are multiple availability zones. Okay, so let's say this region here, or let's say this city here is like let's say Florida. Okay, let's say another city here is like let's say Massachusetts, or I'm just going to shorten it like that. And let's say we have another, we have just these different regions, right? Let's say this is like California, right? And then let's say maybe this one is Los Angeles. I'm just using United States city in this case. Okay, so we have all of these four regions, and inside of these regions, okay, you can have availability zones. Okay, so let's say in Florida, we could have different data centers in Florida here as an example, right? So you could have as many data centers in this case, right? So what I'm simply saying is that inside every region or city, there are multiple availability zones or AZs. Okay, so think of this as a separate neighbors. Think of this as a separate neighbors, right? Each neighborhood has its own power grid and its own internet connection. They are just separate completely. Why? Because if a lightning strike hits neighborhood A, so let's say the lightning strike hits neighborhood A and the power goes out, your application would still keep running because your application is going to divert automatically to neighborhood B, right? So it doesn't mean because you hosted your or deployed your application in Florida, it doesn't mean that your application will go down. Okay, everything will be diverted down to another region. Okay, and this is what makes AWS so reliable. You are never relying on one building. Okay, so I believe you now understand what this is right in this case. Okay, so this is like the website here. You can just simply visit infrastructure.aws and you can have a deeper look about the regions and their availability zones. Okay, so we also have this one called the point of presence. Now this point of presence is simply called the edge location. Okay, so let's talk about the edge location. Now this edge location, AWS has over 400 edge locations, and think of these edge locations as a local convenience. Okay, a local convenience stores. Okay, so to make this simple for you, we've understood that maybe we have understood that we could have different regions. Okay, so different regions like this. Let's just say this is a specific country, for example US, and then inside it you have these different regions, and inside each regions there are different availability zones. Okay, like say different data centers, right? In this case, right? Now there's also what we call the edge location. Now since I said there are over 400 edge location, think of these edge locations as a local convenient store. Okay, if a region is a giant warehouse, okay, just imagine that one of this region here is like a giant warehouse, an edge location is like a small shop, okay, in your specific town. Okay, and instead of your computer reaching all the way to the warehouse in Virginia or in Florida or in any city, right, to watch a video. So let's say you want to watch a video in this case now. So instead of your instead of your computer trying to reach out all the way to this region here or this availability zone, okay, now what is going to happen is that AWS would keep a copy. Okay, so let's say this is like a copy instead. Maybe it's more close. It will keep a copy. Okay, so once it keeps a copy of that video in maybe a convenience store, right? So instead of you, if you want to watch the video, it doesn't go that long way to where the video is stored. Okay, so there is what we call edge location. It can easily just reach out to that edge location and then it serves you that video, right? So this might be confusing right now, but That's for now what we can explain it. Okay, with time I'll keep mentioning it and make sure that you understand it. Okay, so this is just simply it in simple terms. Now, lastly, I just want to talk about the global region versus the scoped service, right in this case. Okay, so AWS has regions all over the world, and these names of this region can be like US East 1 or EU West 3, and so on and so forth, right? A region is just simply a cluster of data centers, just like I've explained now. So we could have these different regions, and inside the region we could have these different availability zones. Okay, so these availability zones are just the data centers. Okay, so most AWS services are also region scoped. Now there are some services in AWS that are you might not be able to use because of the region you selected. Okay, so that you should have that in mind. So when you log into AWS console, you will notice some services are global and some are regional, which means there are some services that are global, which is literally for everyone, and there are some services are regional based, right, in this case. Okay, so region scoped services, these are like your car. If you park your car in a maybe the Florida region, you can't see it if you are looking in the Tokyo region, right? So most services like virtual computers, I mean EC2, or your database live in one specific region at a time. Okay, so we will talk more deeply about some of these terms later on. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you how you can simply choose a region. And I mentioned this already. You can choose a region based on compliance. Okay, compliance just simply means whether that specific region it has specific rules. So maybe if you have data of people in that specific region, they might not want it to leave that region. Okay, so compliance with data governance and legal requirements. So data never leaves a region without your explicit permission. Okay, so that's just one of that. So we also have proximity to customers. That means you must also consider your customers if they are far away from where you deployed your application, okay, in a specific region. That might cause latency, okay, I mean lag, or it might slow up sometimes. Okay, and the availability service as well. Okay, so there are some services you may want to use which is not specific, which is not available in some regions. So you also want to look at that when selecting a particular region, because there might be some services you might need which is not available in a specific region. And also the pricing. So based on the region you are selecting, the pricing may vary, maybe high, it may be low as well. And I've also talked about availability zone. So each region, okay, has many availability zones, and the smallest is usually 3. Okay, at least the minimum 3, and the maximum is usually 6. So in an availability zone, for example, let's say this is like a region. Okay, and inside the region we have this availability zone, and this availability zone is called AP Southeast 2A, right? And we could have different data centers in this region here. You could have up to 3, but not more than 6. Okay, the same thing applies to this second one and this third one here. Okay, so this is a specific region in Sydney, like a city, for example. Okay, so and each availability zone is one or more discrete data center with redundant power, networking, and connectivity. And I simply mean that each region usually has its own power, its own networking and connectivity, and they are all separate. And if everything happens to a specific region, all the applications or websites or storage, all there would digress to a new region without having any issues. Okay, so they are just separate from each other. Okay, and that's what you need to know about that. And the point of presence, which I've also explained, is just simply that the content, whether you're watching a YouTube video and you are in China, okay, there's usually what we call an edge location. It's just like a smaller let me just say a smaller availability zone that is closer to you instead. So instead of you being, for example, this is like you or your device. Okay, so reaching out to China, because maybe that's where YouTube was deployed. Okay, so that's like a lot of stress there. Okay, so there can be what we call edge locations. Okay, just think of edge location as a convenience store where it stores only the basic stores, right? And then it switches out to that basic store instead of going that long way. So that convenience store will just simply store only the things that you can quickly access in this case. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the tour of the AWS in this case. So AWS has a global service, and these are examples of global services like IAM, Route 53, CloudFront, WAF. Okay, so most AWS services are also region scoped. Okay, like EC2, if you want to create a virtual server, Beanstalk, Lambda, recognition. So we're going to talk about all this more in-depthly right in this case. Okay, so that's one thing you simply need to understand. And this is the region table in case you simply need to access it right in this case.